Cross. More sliders! So the computer is barely visible. How barely is barely? There. Are we gonna get to play like a spooky version now? Please adjust the slider until the dog and the cat are friends. There. Until number 5 becomes the number 9. I love these new sliders. Oh, that's 9. 1 second. Let's do the Roman numeral 9. Until you stop adjusting the slider. Which of the 2 made-up words below is most appealing to? Occuboinkle. Scrumtush. Occuboinkle, obviously. Please don't adjust this slider. Okay. Do you know what time it is right now? Yes, I do. Is the time that is right now the correct time? No. What is time anyway? Yes. Is there anything about yourself you haven't told me? Let's be honest. Help. Yes. Oh gosh, what have I done? Will you come back to visit me? Yes. I will definitely be playing this game more than just this time. Okay. Greetings, fellow mortals. My name is... oh, I need to change my intro, actually. Greetings, fellow mortals. This is Treasure Code from the Parable Project. And welcome back to the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Now, if you guys saw, like, my little new channel name and some raft, you'll know. It's like, yep, we did a little bit of changing things. And, like, if you want, you can go ahead and watch that. I don't remember everything that happened while I was playing that. It was mostly just me talking about, a couple things about the channel and some stories. Some hopes and dreams, you know, stuff like that. I fully encourage you to watch it, but you don't have to. And last time we were here, if I remember correctly, we did the countdown ending, and at first I was thinking for today's episode I'd go back and see if I can survive that, but according to the Steam thread, you can't survive it. First I was just seeing if it was possible, but according to the Steam threads, it's impossible. We also ended up in the narrator going in a downward spiral because I kept skipping. And, you know, I decided that I'd quit the game instead of putting him through any more torment. And I'm actually curious to see where it's gonna put me. If the new content door is still gonna be there. Because I plan on being nice to the narrator. I know he deleted all my friends, but... you know, we'll kill him with kindness instead. Besides, you know, this is a video game. The narrator's fully aware that he's dealing with a bunch of fictional characters and I'm the only real person here.
This is the story.
Alright, we'll skip this time. Oh! This is the second version of The Office.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
Okay, but the last time I did this, you ended up in a downward mental health spiral. Okay, I don't know if I can trust this. What if it's ultimately for your own good that I go the other way? You're going to be really disappointed when I don't go this way. Ah. A part of me wants to go in there again. But then... at the same time, I realize that it's probably going to end badly. Okay, we're gonna see if there's any other way that we can make this happen.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Okay. We're gonna get to this part and then we're gonna see if we can... Okay, we're gonna try to turn back. We're gonna say no more. No! Narrator! Why have you done this to yourself? This is not a journey of self-discovery. This is just a downward spiral into a rabbit hole. I've been down rabbit holes. They're not nice. Like, this advice for you in the audience. If you're going down a rabbit hole, sometimes it's just not worth it.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
You don't need it. I'll jump into the water. We're not doing this again. Dang it. Oh. Ah! Oh, dang it. I thought I broke the game. Dang.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No.
The door is still there.
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound...
We know we have to keep skipping.
Well, there's sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain that there was one here before. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere? A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button, to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here before, wasn't there? I swear there was. Where did it go? And place it in a different wall, but I will find a way, I promise. You just need to not do anything. Don't press the skip button. Please, please, please do not press the skip button. Just wait here for me, and don't press the skip button. Got it? Yes, good. I'll be right back.
Okay, this is the part where we got to the bit where the narrator's gonna go down a spiral. He's gonna have incredible anxiety because Stanley will just be there. And I've decided I refuse to do this to the narrator. So we're going to free ourselves from this room the only way we can. And that is to begin the game again. The end is loading. And this time, I don't care, it's gonna make him mad.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
You're gonna get mad at me, but we are going the other way.
Oh. You don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who
I'd rather
cares?
you hate me than be upset because I made a decision knowing what it was going to do to you. New content doors closed. Is he gonna be silent the whole time?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, I want to continue exploring this bit.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Okay, he didn't stay mad for very long. I think we're fine.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No, I don't think he did. I knew that there was something back here.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Do not lie. If you are lying right now, stop. Well, maybe the narrator should stop lying then, because he said I'm bad at following directions. I'm not bad at following directions. I am great at doing it when I want to. Ooh, I need a key card. Do not jump from the cargo lift while it is in motion, will cause death. Penalty for misuse, penalty for jumping off the I get a $5,000 penalty for jumping off the cargo lift. When they already gave me a warning saying don't, and therefore they probably would not be liable. Okay, I don't have a key card, so I can't go that way. So we're gonna go in the cargo lift.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
What? Are you talking about maybe Stanley's wife?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
I assume you want me to go through the open door. Well, this isn't ominous at all. So maybe my wife? I'm coming home, honey! Jeez.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this.
There. I probably should have listened to the dialogue first. Am I about to be a father?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Oh, jeez!
Gotcha!
Narrator!
Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife
Yes!
who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Oh, you're scaring me. Narrator? This is creepy.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Press R on your keyboard? No. Oh, fine.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Press F. Oh, wait! He's making me basically just do my job. No, I'm pushing every other button. He's basically just making me do the job. No! Fine.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
It is soul-rending.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown.
Yeah, the loving wife.
Fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Please watch TV. This hurts, narrator.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Spend time with the boys? But the boys all disappeared. What if I don't want to spend time with the boys? What if they're all jerks? Who make jokes about how much they hate their mothers. Or they make insensitive comments about international problems. It's like, what if they have the nicest moms in the world and they're still just jerks to said moms? And also, I think it's interesting that he's making me do the job that Stanley has. Like, this is torture, narrator. You're torturing me. And also, apparently, I guess the game is made part Stanley's daydream, and that's why there's a narrator, because it's the story that Stanley's writing in his own head.
So, he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors, and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Tell your kids a story?
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Oh, she's gonna disappear, isn't she? So, like, it could be like something I do in my story. Sometimes I'll write a story, but after so long, I'll think, well, what happens if I change this certain aspect of the story? Like, the narrator is the original version of the story that Stanley wrote, but then down the other ways, when we don't listen to the narrator, it's Stanley coming up with more and more stories. Maybe his sense of having to conform because of the life he's lived. The narrator becomes agitated, like that's his sense of conformity, even trying to invade his imagination.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Oh, it's gonna delete my bedroom, isn't it?
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Be at work in the morning. Wait, so is that what they meant by Stanley was dead from the moment he all this started? Because he's slowly killing himself with these fantasies. He's dead to the world. He's not dead. Because that weird female narrator that randomly showed up at one point when we killed Stanley. Which, honestly, if I get bored, I can go back to the path and see what happens if I let Stanley die. But... oh, they said please. Oh. Yeah, screw it, I'm gonna prove the narrator right.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
To question nothing? Oh. Maybe the narrator's like, it's also like his sense of reason. It's a sense in the back of his head that's trying to push a depressing truth on him. Because he's dead to the world, and instead of like fixing the horrible reality of his life or trying to do anything to fix that horrible reality, he's just daydreaming his cares away.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time.
Oh.
And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button.
No.
And I tried.
Oh. What? I didn't even press anything that time. I think it's curious that I seem to have permanently changed the office. Oh.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
I would if I could, buddy, but I know the mental health spiel's gonna take you down. It's like when you avoid a certain topic around that one friend because that friend has trauma related to that topic. You don't know you have trauma. This is one of those cases where I know better than you do.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm gonna try to jump off the cargo lift this time.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes. This room.
Oh.
What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
This time I'm gonna try to turn back and say...
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
It's like it's this idea that the sense of realism is not our enemy, but it seems like it because it tells us, like, these horrible truths.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Woo!
I'm not your enemy, but in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged
Heck
to his
yeah,
death.
I did.
Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
I do. I feel powerful. You forgot to put an invisible wall there. So I did what video game character gonna do.
Psst. Stanley, come over here.
are-
In the vent. Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
Buddy, I am not the dork here. What else can I screw up?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on
What
his
happens
left.
if I don't answer the phone?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime,
Oh, you
a
have
work of
different-
art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally
Because I
to
keep going
Stanley?
here over and over
Its
again.
grace, its subtle charm. No. Stanley knew it was something deeper, something
Story time.
darker.
Come on. I will go and...
Yes, really, really worth it being here
I need to
in the
go
room.
to the employee room.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
See what happens if I don't answer the phone. I answered it out of like an anxiety instant answer the phone.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
What happens if I try to jump off onto there?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your
That'll be for
enemy,
next
really,
time.
I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem
Okay, what
yourself.
happens if I
To
don't
put
answer
your
the
work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Okay, now we'll listen to his dialogue and just not answer the phone. Oh, it's such a
That's her,
stress-inducing
Stanley.
environment.
You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
No, you're just bullying me, narrator. You're just trying to harass me. Nope. You made this so intensely scary. At first I thought that she was dying, or maybe she was having our first child. Like, that's the kind of anxiety you instilled in me. Fine. If this is the same thing, then I'll just go ahead and...
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about
You're down.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He's just bullying me
Oh.
again. I said no. I said I'm walking the other way. I'm not gonna take this harassment. Making me think I had a wife. She sounded so nice. This time we're gonna jump onto that catwalk.
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. Oh, you don't want to
I've
see the
already
cool
seen it.
surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're
I've
a
already
dork
seen it,
anyway, so
narrator.
who
You need
cares?
to stop being such a drama queen. I want to see what you say this time about the employee lounge.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first,
He does
just
have
to
very nice
admire
voice.
it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood true happiness. Then the feeling went away, and he felt sad again. Then it came back, and lingered for a minute or two. Now it's only half there. Just a kind of, tingle.
I kind of want to see what happens if I keep going to the employee lounge. I know,
Yes,
I'm going.
really. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Yep.
Stanley was so bad
right.
at following directions,
Here we
it's
go.
incredible he wasn't fired years
Okay.
ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in
Okay,
someone else
here we
can be
go.
difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you forgot. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you.
You're a liar!
To show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
You didn't even finish talking. Danger everywhere. Sounds like a party. You see, I like to say that there are 3 things it is always a good day for. Worshipping God, helping others, and traumatizing fictional characters. You, sir, only do the last one. Kill me. Kill me. When am I gonna get run over? I want to get jump scared. I want to get jump scared next Tuesday.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Are you sure?
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red
that'll be such
door.
a good thumbnail. There we go. And now we're gonna go through the blue one.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well,
it said
don't
danger
let
was
me
everywhere,
stop you.
not just down the blue door. Come on, what's gonna kill me?
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures.
No, I wanted
Is this
you to
what
kill
you had
me.
wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out
I wrote the story
specifically for
canonically.
you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into
Stanley
that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Adding more choices, 10 times better.
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly. A calling in your gut.
Soul.
I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that
the irritation.
I felt it in my soul.
Felt irritation.
You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Okay. Oh, they're dark now.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again,
no,
honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting.
No.
You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Please let it be like...
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world
So
will
who's your
really
daddy?
take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play
Buddy.
to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Nope. Burn!
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies
Purely
or
to
purely
spite
to
you.
spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game?
Look,
just to ease
if
the
you
pain.
can't take constructive
Let's see.
criticism, I didn't
What
even
do we
say
have
anything.
here? Yes.
You're
This
getting
seems like
so
it'll work.
worked up,
Let's give it a
narrator.
shot.
You're driving yourself down this rabbit hole. I never even said anything. I didn't say your game was bad. I probably would have told you that the sound effects were a little obnoxious. That the buzzer made it sound like I was doing the wrong thing, because the buzzer tends to happen when it's not good.
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory?
Hang
What is
on.
our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted, erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything
Sounds
about
like
this
Gravity
game, Stanley.
Falls.
And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
This reminds me of a game I saw where somebody ventures out into the woods at this point, and it's a terrible idea. Okay, we're in America, probably. Yeah, whereas, like, it was a game that took place in a lookout tower. This bears remarkable similarity. Gosh, my graphics. Hang on. Settings. Can I fix this? Video. If I turn down... Can this at least be a faster game if I turn down the graphics a little bit? Okay, it is running a little better. I'll take this.
Oh, no. No, it can't be.
What? I'm gonna go down the path.
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly
No!
block it off.
No!
Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering
no, you
around. No
didn't.
right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it.
Narrator. No,
Out
we're
of
in
the
the
woods
middle
now,
of the
Stanley.
woods.
Okay, I'm going to get us out of here.
But
Let's find
I
another
want-
game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable
Yeah.
walls. Okay, I think this will be
Dang it.
just the thing.
So close. Is this Rocket League?
Wonderful. See, this
It's
is
Rocket
exactly what
League!
I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility
Watch me.
that you could get lost here. Now
Watch
this
me.
is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will
now I
be
have to get
phenomenally
lost.
impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball?
No,
Stanley,
I hate
I think it's
sports ball.
sports
I'm a
ball.
bad
Oh, what
person.
fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together.
I don't want to play
I think
sports
surely
ball.
we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
What the? What the? No! wanna. I don't wanna. I don't wanna. I don't wanna play sports ball. But there's an invisible wall. I'll be on the blue team. This is painful. On an emotional level.
Are you doing it?
No.
Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought. And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball. Yes! Oh goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More balls!
It's pointless, this.
Are you enjoying this, Stanley? Are you having fun? Is this a real video game? Well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over. That's right.
Finally!
Your little fun comes to an end. This is my game, and what I say goes. You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley. Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries for... Hold on. What are you doing?
I figured it out! I knew that there was some way I could ruin it.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
You think I can't write a story without you, buddy? I have maybe 1,000 pages of stories that I'm still working on. Ooh. I can fall further. What's there here? A little bit of light exploring, getting my bearings. Yay! I get to fall again. Oh, this is scary. Now that we don't have as many animated things, game's running much smoother. I like this. It's spoopy. Oh. I'll fall down another dark hole. Aw. Let's see. Where can we go? Oh, wait, so if I go back this way. Interesting! Let me in, let me in, let me in, let me in. I wanna go in. Dang it, I wanted to investigate what's on the screens. One functional light. Love it. Oh my gosh. I love it. It's basically the Stanley Parable, but spoopy. Ah, you cut me off, didn't you?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon.
Are we about to load back in? Is this where we just, like, the narrator's left lonely? That's a little sad. Because, like, I was trying to prevent that. I didn't know he couldn't follow me to the bottom of the Rocket League Earth. And how, like, seriously, could you explain to me how the Stanley Parable, like an ancient version of it, and with futuristic technology, ended up under Rocket League? And yeah, that's been roughly 50 minutes of recording. I'm happy. This leaves us with plenty to go on for next time. So honestly, I think I will leave this here. Thank you all so much for watching. As usual, we'll have our little 7-minute sermon afterward. God's Word in 7 minutes or less. I fully encourage you to stay. I invite you to. I in no capacity attempt to force you. That's really all. Always remember, you are treasured, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye! Hello, hello, hello. So glad you have stuck around for our 7-minute sermon, God's Word in 7 minutes or less. And in today's episode, the narrator, he made a pretty remarkable series of comments on the player's inability to trust him. And yeah, the sad part with the narrator is that those fears were entirely founded because he ended up just pranking us and playing with our feelings, which is sad. But honestly, something important is like the idea of, can you trust somebody else? And it is always difficult to trust, especially when somebody knows something that you don't. It can be very difficult to trust them because you're trying to figure out what it is they know. It's like the narrator, he was talking about a supposed she. He knew that it was all just a prank. We didn't even know if we had a, like, the only evidence we had that Stanley had a wife was from a previous ending where he said that he had a wife while he was having a mental breakdown. And like that can make it very difficult to trust an entity like God, who knows literally everything. And I kind of just want to drive home the fact that God is not like people who will screw you over, whether they want to or not. They will eventually. Like, if they put sincere effort into doing right by you, then the screw-ups tend to be fairly minor. But, you know, we are all human, something that I feel like not enough people take into account with God when they're trying to consider, like, oh, what's the likelihood of a being actually always doing right by people? Well, you can't think of God as a human being. You've got to think of him completely differently. And a good verse I found for this sort of idea, 1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind, and God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. So God is like faithful. That's an idea repeated again and again and again throughout the Bible, and this is a good example of this. Like, people are going to fall prey. Like, it is common to mankind for us to fall prey to temptations and do the wrong thing. But God is always faithful. He provides ways out of temptation. He helps people do the right thing, and he always does everything he can, which is very considerable, considering it's a very considerable power when you're God to do right by human beings in providing justice and mercy at the same time. And this verse is also taken out of context a lot. Like, God will not give you more than you can bear. They're talking about temptation. They're not talking about problems. And like, it's also, we are going to face more than we can bear in this life. Then that, I guess, is a topic for a different time. But it is something I'd like to cover at some point, since that's such a if you rephrase it, it can be a very easily misunderstood verse, especially when people start shorthanding it. So that is something I'd like to talk about at some point. Just gotta wait for the right video to bring it up. Oh, but that's really all I had to say. I made my point. I'll admit I was kind of nervous. I will never not get nervous when I'm recording these sermons. But I love this ministry. I'm having a lot of fun with this. I feel like this is where God wants me to be, even if it's not always easy. And that's, I guess, just one weird example of his faithfulness. I've got to trust him that I'm in the right place, at least for now. And ultimately, I think it's going to work out for the best. Well, that's really all I had to say. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, or snide remarks concerning today's sermon, you can email me at treasurecode813@gmail.com. Thank you for watching, and I will see all of you in the next video. Bye-bye!